Alright guys, so hopefully you're still with me. In the last video we made it so that we could submit the form and we added the meal item and the calories to the data structure. It also created an ID and we could see that down in the console when we called that log data method. So now what we want to do is take the new item, okay, so this is the item add submit function, and remember we put the new item into a variable. Now what we want to do is we want to add it to the UI. All right, so let's say add item to UI list. Okay, so to do that, we're going to use the UI controller, and we're going to call a method called add list item, and we're going to pass in that new item. Okay, now this isn't created yet. We have to go up here to the UI controller and actually create it. So let's see, this is the UI controller. We're going to go right here and we're going to say add list item. Okay, it's going to take in the item. Now we want to create a list item element. Okay, so let's say create li element. And this is all stuff we've learned. Everything in this project is kind of like everything we've learned wrapped up into one project. So we can create elements in the DOM with the document.createElement method. So let's say const li equals document.create element. We want to create a list item. Okay, then we want to add our class. So we're going to say let's see, li dot class name equals collection item. We also want to add the ID. Okay, so we'll say li.id equals. Now remember, the ID is actually going to be dynamic. It's going to be the ID of the item, and we can access that because this is the item object, which has the ID, the name, and the calories. So we're going to set this to a template string, and we're going to say item dash and then item.id. Okay, so that'll add the dynamic ID. Now we want to add the HTML. Actually, so for the HTML, let's say li.inner HTML equals template string. And what I'm going to do is copy, let's go up here. And we're not going to need the li itself because we created all that stuff right here. What we need is what's in it. So from here to here. Copy that. Put that in there. And item name, that should be the same. Item calories, so everything here is fine. And then we just need to insert it. All right, so let's go right here and we'll say insert item. So we want to do a document dot query selector UI selectors dot item list, and then we want to call insert adjacent element. I want to make this bigger. So insert adjacent element. And then we're going to we want this to go before the end. So before end. And then this next parameter is going to be this li item. Okay. So I think that should do it. Let's save. Let's go ahead and add something. We'll say test meal 2000. Add meal, and there it is. All right, so it's getting added to the DOM. Now, once we add this, we want to clear these out. Okay, So what we'll do is go down back to our app controller to the item add submit. Should probably space this out and go under where we just did that. We added the list item, and let's clear. We'll say clear fields. So this I'm going to leave to the UI. So UI controller dot clear fields. Okay, and actually let's do clear input. So we'll go up here to the UI controller, clear input, and we're going to grab document dot query selector, UI selectors dot input name. Whoops. What was it? Item name input. So item name input, we're going to set the value equal to nothing. All right, we want to do the same thing with the calories input. So we'll grab that and we'll change this to item calories input. So that way, and notice if we reload, that's going to go away because we haven't persisted the data anywhere. It's just in the local data structure. Later on, we're going to add it to local storage so that if we reload the app, it's still there. But that's not going to be till later. So if we add something in here, there we go. Now, notice that I was able to add something that's not a number here. That's actually something that I meant to change in the main index.html file. I want to change the calories from type text to type number. Okay, that way, if we try to enter text or letters, it doesn't work. It has to be a number. Okay, and notice when we enter it, these will clear. Okay, the input gets cleared. All right, so now that we can actually add stuff through the form, what I'm going to do is get rid of the hard-coded data. Where is it? So up at the top here, this stuff here. And I want to show you something. If we were to do item controller log data, whoops, what did I do? Item controller log data, and let's look at these items. Notice that only the one that we added, which is the one with the ID of 3, has this item before it because that was actually created with the constructor. Okay, we said new item. These other ones are just object literals, just pasted inside the array. Okay, so just something to take note of. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to comment these out. Okay, I won't completely delete them, but if we go ahead and save now, we're not going to have any initial data. We'll have to add something. So test 100, and then we can add the data. All right, now there's a couple things I want to do for cleanup. This line right here, if we check it out with the element inspector, the UL is there. Okay, even though there's nothing in it, and I don't want that. I don't want that line to show. So what we're going to do is in the UI controller, we're going to add a method called hide list. And I know I say method and function, and I kind of say those interchangeably, so sorry about that if that gets confusing. Just know when I say method, it's a function. All right, so hide list, and what I want to do is just say document dot query selector UI selectors dot item list, set the style dot display equal to none. Okay, so it's just going to hide the list. Now this is just creating the function. It's not actually doing anything. But what I want to do now is go down to the init. Okay, go down to the initializer. We're going to go, let's see, right after where we fetch the items, excuse me, from the items controller, let's say check if any items. All right, so we're going to say if items dot length is equal to 0, so there's no items, then we're going to call UI controller dot hide list. Okay, else then we want to populate the items. So I'm going to just cut this and put that in there. So now if I save this, now that line goes away. So if I go and add something here, actually hold on a second. Yeah, so oops. So I added the item and it got added locally, but this is still hidden, okay, because we called hide list but we never unhid it. So what we need to do is go up to where when we add an item here, actually we don't want to do it there, we want to do it in the UI. So when we do add list item, let's make sure that we show the list. So we'll say document dot query selector UI selectors item list dot item list dot style dot display equals block. Okay, so that way if we say stake 200, there we go. Okay, and then if there's nothing, it doesn't show that line, it doesn't show the empty UL. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And if that doesn't bother you, I mean, then that's fine, but I don't know, I don't really like that. All right, so in the next video, what I want to do is I want to start to work with this total calories, okay? Because when we add an item, you know, if we say 200, then this should get added to this should get changed to 200. If we say item 2, 100, that should get changed to 300, and so on. And then later on, when we get to edit and delete, we'll have to update this total calories as well. So it's something we have to keep track of throughout the application. All right, so I will see you in the next video.